Paramahansa Yogananda, the renowned Indian mystic and founder of Self-Realization Fellowship, emphasized the profound importance of proper preparation before entering into deep meditation. Among his numerous teachings on spiritual practice, he consistently recommended a specific preliminary prayer that serves as both an invocation and a spiritual alignment tool before beginning formal meditation practice. The primary preliminary prayer. The fundamental mantra or prayer that Yogananda recommended before meditation begins with the sacred invocation, Heavenly Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved God. This opening acknowledgement establishes the devotional relationship between the practitioner and the divine, recognizing God in multiple aspects as the transcendent Father, the nurturing Mother, the intimate Friend, and the supreme Beloved. This preliminary prayer continues with specific requests for guidance, protection, and spiritual awakening. The complete prayer typically includes petitions for divine presence to manifest within the practitioner's consciousness, for the removal of obstacles to spiritual progress, and for the blessing of deep, communion-filled meditation. The spiritual significance of preliminary prayer. Yogananda understood that meditation is not merely a relaxation technique or mental exercise, but a sacred communion with the divine. The preliminary prayer serves multiple crucial functions in preparing the consciousness for this sacred encounter. First, it shifts the practitioner's awareness from mundane concerns to spiritual receptivity. Second, it establishes proper humility and devotion, recognizing that deep meditation is ultimately a gift of divine grace rather than a purely personal achievement. The invocation also serves as a protective barrier, surrounding the meditator with divine light and love before entering the vulnerable state of deep inner absorption. Yogananda taught that when we sincerely call upon God before meditation, we invite divine protection and guidance throughout our practice. The science behind devotional preparation. From Yogananda's perspective, which brilliantly combined ancient yogic wisdom with modern understanding, the preliminary prayer creates specific physiological and psychological changes that facilitate deeper meditation. The act of devotional prayer naturally calms the nervous system, slows the breath, and creates a state of reverent expectancy that is ideal for inner communion. The emotional component of devotion activates the heart center, which Yogananda considered essential for authentic spiritual experience. Without the opening of the heart through love and devotion, he taught, meditation can become merely an intellectual exercise rather than a transformative spiritual practice. The role of Aum in preliminary practice. While the specific prayer forms the verbal foundation of premeditation preparation, Yogananda also emphasized the importance of chanting Aum as part of this preliminary practice. The technique involves rubbing the hands together and chanting Aum to generate healing vibrations and establish spiritual resonance. Aum, according to Yogananda's teachings, is the primordial sound of creation, the vibratory manifestation of God's presence in the universe. By chanting Om before meditation, practitioners align their personal vibration with the cosmic vibration, creating harmony between individual consciousness and universal consciousness. Integration with Hong Sao technique. Yogananda's preliminary prayer naturally leads into his fundamental meditation technique known as Hong Sao. Hong and Sao are sacred Sanskrit words that have a vibratory connection with the incoming and outgoing breath, and they have a calming effect on the breath. The Hong Sao technique, which Paramahansa Yogananda called the highest technique of concentration, uses the mantra Hong on the inhalation and Sao on the exhalation. The preliminary prayer creates the proper spiritual atmosphere for this breath-focused meditation technique. After establishing divine connection through the opening prayer, practitioners can more easily surrender to the natural rhythm of Hong Sao, allowing the technique to draw them into deeper states of concentration and ultimately, spiritual communion. Chanting as meditation preparation. Beyond the specific preliminary prayer, Yogananda advocated for chanting before meditation as a wonderful method to help us calm and interiorize the mind and then to subsequently go into silent meditation and perceive God. This chanting can include devotional songs, mantras, or repetitive prayers that gradually quiet the restless mind and open the heart to divine love. The practice of chanting serves as a bridge between ordinary consciousness and meditative awareness. Through rhythmic, devotional sound, practitioners naturally shift from external focus to internal receptivity, from mental agitation to emotional peace, and from personal will to divine surrender. The prayer's structure and components. The preliminary prayer recommended by Yogananda typically follows a specific structure that addresses different aspects of spiritual preparation. It begins with recognition and invocation of the divine, continues with requests for guidance and protection, includes petitions for the removal of spiritual obstacles, and concludes with surrender to divine will. This structure reflects the natural progression of consciousness as it prepares for deep meditation. First comes recognition of something greater than the individual self. Then follows the humble request for help and guidance. Next comes the acknowledgement of personal limitations and the need for divine intervention. Finally arrives the surrender that allows grace to work. Personalization and adaptation. While Yogananda provided specific prayers and formulas, he also emphasized that sincere devotion is more important than exact words. The preliminary prayer can be adapted to reflect individual spiritual understanding and cultural background, as long as it maintains the essential elements of devotion, humility, and sincere calling upon divine assistance. Some practitioners might address the divine as simply God or Spirit, while others might use more personal names or culturally specific terms. The key is that the prayer comes from the heart and genuinely prepares the consciousness for sacred communion. The importance of consistency. Yogananda stressed the importance of establishing consistent spiritual practices, including the use of preliminary prayer before meditation. By using the same or similar prayers each time, practitioners create a conditioned response in consciousness that facilitates quicker and deeper entry into meditative states. This consistency also builds spiritual momentum over time. Each sincere offering of the preliminary prayer adds to the cumulative power of devotion, creating stronger and stronger channels for divine grace to flow into the practitioner's life and meditation practice. Physical preparation elements. The preliminary prayer is often accompanied by specific physical preparations that Yogananda recommended. These might include assuming the proper meditative posture, adjusting the breathing rhythm, and creating the appropriate environmental conditions for deep practice. The prayer itself can be offered while seated in meditation posture, with hands either folded in prayer position or raised in gesture of receptivity. The physical alignment during the preliminary prayer helps establish the proper energetic condition for the meditation that follows. Connection to Kriya Yoga. For advanced students who had received initiation into Kriya Yoga, Yogananda's premier spiritual technique, the preliminary prayer takes on even deeper significance. It serves as the foundation for the more advanced practices, establishing the proper devotional and energetic foundation necessary for safe and effective Kriya practice. The prayer creates the spiritual protection and divine connection that allows practitioners to work safely with the powerful energies activated through Kriya techniques. Without this foundation of devotion and divine connection, advanced yogic practices can become merely mechanical exercises rather than transformative spiritual experiences. Healing dimensions. The preliminary prayer also serves healing purposes, both for the practitioner and for others. Yogananda taught specific healing prayer techniques that include the invocation, Heavenly Father, Thou art omnipresent, Thou art in all Thy children, manifest Thy healing presence in their souls. This healing dimension of preliminary prayer recognizes that true meditation naturally generates healing energy. By beginning with prayers for healing and divine manifestation, practitioners align themselves with the healing power of spirit and become conduits for divine grace to flow into the world. Conclusion. The gateway to divine communion, the mantra and preliminary prayer that Yogananda recommended before meditation represents far more than a simple preparatory ritual. It serves as the gateway between ordinary consciousness and divine communion, the bridge between human limitation and infinite possibility, and the foundation upon which all deeper spiritual practice is built. Through consistent use of these preliminary invocations, practitioners gradually develop the devotional attitude and spiritual receptivity necessary for authentic meditation experience. The prayer becomes not just something we do before meditation, but a living expression of our deepest spiritual aspiration, the soul's innate longing to return to conscious unity with its divine source. In Yogananda's vision, every meditation session becomes an opportunity for divine communion, and the preliminary prayer ensures that we approach this sacred opportunity with the proper reverence, preparation, and receptivity to receive the infinite blessings that await the sincere spiritual seeker.